Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. On the business. First order of business is to stand and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I'll see if there's a temperature
You
measure.
got a agenda or anything for us tonight?
Yeah, sorry.
What?
Sorry.
I read that whole article
Her?
that Kate sent.
And that. That'll be, I guess, item 2, 1, whatever you want to do first.
Jan.
No, definitely not. Definitely. They, I see you selling more, small bricks.
Hmm.
Well, I can resale it.
Okay, I think, gentlemen, I think tonight we have a fairly brief meeting, I would think, and we have just a couple of items on the agenda for tonight. One is to sign off on the licenses. It's time to renew all the licenses for businesses in the community, which is kind of an automatic thing. And then it was with regret that I informed the town that we have received a letter of resignation from Heather, and I don't know how you'd like to proceed. Would you like me to read the letter, or would you?
I'll read it.
Okay.
So I sent this letter to the board Monday evening. It is with mixed emotions that I am giving you my resignation as town administrator for the town of Barry. I've accepted the position of town manager in the town of Bloomberg. For the last 10 years, I've had the good fortune of working with dedicated selectmen, volunteer committee members that give their free time to help the town, a talented staff, and citizens that care to make Barry a better place to live. Although I may not reside in town, I have always considered Barry my home and will miss the people that I work with and the wonderful people I've met over the years. I've been blessed to be among these people, especially my assistant, Faye Zukowski, who's been a vital part of the progress our office has made and shares my enthusiasm for accomplishing projects. And above all, is a great person. Although there is always room for growth and ways to move town forward, I feel fortunate to have been a part of the progress made during my tenure. Working as a team, the finance committee, selectmen, financial team, and I've worked hard to balance the needs of departments and maintain a stable tax rate and like 2 debt exclusions. The capital plan that was created this year will continue to balance the capital needs of the town, enhance the town's bond rating. The town's policies and procedures have been updated. A net metering agreement goes into effect in December, saving the town approximately $800,000 over the lifetime of the project. Our EMS department is now self-sustaining by switching the billing company to increase collections by 40%. And we are the recipient of many grants totaling over $150,000 in the last year and a half alone. Multiple building projects have been achieved, including the Henry Woods building roof replacement, insulation at both the Henry Woods and library, repairing the second stairwell and lobby at the Henry Woods building, restoration of the Civil War monument, and we have 50% through construction of the future Stephen M. Brewer Public Safety Building. I'm particularly proud of our regional IT position that has made Barry a model for the Commonwealth and is promoting to other cities and towns. These successes are among many other unmentioned ones and has put the town in a better financial position as well as creating a better quality of life. I would like to make the transition to the next town administrator as smooth as possible and will ensure that all projects that I am currently working on that are close to completion will be wrapped up before my departure. I will give the board a full report on all the outstanding matters and the necessary actions on each at a future meeting. I respectfully request a meeting to discuss this transition and my departure date.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you very
very
much.
thank you for your help and the well-thought-out letter, and I can tell, I wasn't sure if I was gonna have to finish there for a
Yeah,
minute, but
that's-
thank you.
Think of
Thank you very
asking.
much for the heartfelt letter, and thank you for your time, and I think we'll be speaking to that again, I'm sure, but thank you. Thank you for your efforts, and I know I told you privately, but I hope the new position meets with your expectations and that you find the fulfillment in the position that you're looking for.
Thank you.
I think it's a very big step, and I think you've earned it, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with that, and it's not going to be easy for us, but thank you.
So the other part of that, I wanted to discuss my departure date. As you're aware, my contract is 60 days notice, so that would bring it to January 28th. But I would like to leave January 12th.
Okay, so was the date when we discussed for the 18th, is that what we mentioned?
No, Lunenburg would like me to start on the 17th.
Excuse me?
Lunenburg would like me to start on the 17th, that's good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, the next finance meeting. Do they have a quorum?
No, we're gonna have a training meeting.
Oh, okay. And the next one would be that last week you're here? Or the first week in January? Normally, is it?
I don't know when the January one is.
Just,
January 4th, okay?
4th would be the first Wednesday in the month.
Yeah,
So that's normally where it would land? Okay.
I think that's what's on the schedule.
And then a big deal, I'm just trying to think it up, just to see maybe if it was something where if it was the week after you were leaving, maybe we'd move it up a week earlier just to give one last little close out of everything that we stood. I can't, really can't think of any reason why that would be okay. You know, seeing that.
What date was it that you put?
She was saying the 12th would be the second Thursday in January.
Okay.
It's January 11th.
Is it the 11th? I was thinking it was the 4th.
No,
Probably pushed it after the holidays to get that extra.
Maybe it's on the 4th.
You'll find out.
I'll look at the calendar.
Righty then. So January 12th should be fine. Is that a vote thing or just a, we don't have a problem with it thing?
If you want to make it official.
Yeah, you get a whole 5 days too.
I guess I'd make a motion
Yeah,
to accept her
yeah,
resignation starting January 12th.
Okay, I'll second it. Kathy, you,
Will you be forming a search committee for the new town administrator?
well, I think that's coming up next. Yeah, that next, but yeah.
2 steps, right? Kind of like an interim and then a true search or something.
That's good.
Okay.
Charlie, did you want to second that?
I did.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah. In favor?
All right,
Okay.
thank you again.
Thank you. So as you said, the second part of that would be transition plan. My recommendation to the board would be to hire an interim until, and put together a search committee to hire full-time. So we can, if you'd like me to proceed with advertising for an interim.
That's what I was thinking is, yeah, post it, within, and I think we could probably have plenty, talent within the system that could probably do it, right? That's what we have to do first anyway, right?
We can do it simultaneously.
Yeah.
On MMA.
I like the concept with the interim to look first inside, even if it's, yeah, because I think that would be good. Do the standard 10-day inside, and then assuming we don't get anybody, we immediately go to full public notice posting for an interim. And then that just squeezes our window around the holidays, or to make a decision if we don't find somebody inside first. So, but I do think it would be a good way to go. See if somebody inside would like to step up and take it on for a while, but can do that.
What requirements then are you gonna?
Well, I think we're gonna have to, we need to figure out what requirements we have to meet, minimum, for an interim. Is there any special requirements that a person has to hold coming in for an interim position versus a full-time administrator based on state requirements?
I don't think that, is nothing standard.
Oh, yeah.
I was just thinking, maybe post within somebody that's got a good understanding of how the town's been running, how the town is currently operating, knowledge of, budget preparation, which is what we've got to know between now and whenever this position is filled, and can deal with the public, I think, for the time being. And then we need to take a look formally at the job description that we have to see if we need to change it. When we put a permanent place, somebody in, I think they could use kind of the job description you have now. Wouldn't that seem reasonable?
Yeah, there's probably a few tweaks that.
Yeah,
we need to
I mean, but, I think first and foremost, the ability to deal with the public is paramount importance. And then understanding the, financial needs of the community, because that's going to be the very first issue we face coming into the spring. So that's what I was thinking. I don't know if we need to take a formal vote on that, post it within and see what happens. And then, let's see, we're gonna meet Monday is the 5th.
Yeah, I guess what I would do is I would kind of post your current job description and let them know that a general understanding of these duties. Understand that some might be stronger in other places, but that at least gives them an idea of, this might cross your desk whether we expect it or not. All of a sudden it does cross your desk because we didn't foresee it. So whether you can do it or you have resources where you can figure out how to do it, that might be a key part of. So if we could just kind of post that as the general duties of the job, and just know that we may ask you to do that. So that way, at least the internals. After that, if we have to go public, we'll go with more of a formal, these are your duties, this is what we're expecting, until we can hire a permanent position. And then I think maybe Charlie and I might want to just go ahead and review your current job description and just independently mark it up if we think we want to add or remove or revise or whatever at this time. And then come back to a meeting to discuss and finalize that for full-time, so that it can go into a charge and an actual search committee for a permanent town administrator. So maybe that's something we need to start working on soon. I know I got the email from you, but I don't know if Charlie's had a hard copy or not, but maybe we can both work on that. Maybe we could roll that into just the town administrator assistants, because I remember we were talking, that job description exists, but we never have a record of it being formally approved by the select board or whatever that process was, so maybe we can just both look at both of those and just close that loop. And then moving into the next administration, we just have them both set, going approved, accepted. It becomes part of the personnel policy in the back where, is that where it falls? I forget the reference in the personnel policy to the job descriptions.
Pumping last time.
Kind of, yeah, kind of there. But that's just kind of recognition of what it is, not necessarily the details, right? It goes into a personnel folder. Where do the job duties get filed?
The job descriptions?
Job description.
We just have them, some are hard copy, but some are electronic, we have them. I think we received some of them, a lot of them on paper, and we'd scanned, a lot of them.
Okay.
And
So
there's a lot that we're missing.
we'll work on that. This will be one where we can just get this up to date, and know that the most recent is 2016 or 17, whenever we get to that, and stamp it on file for accepted. That makes sense to you?
See, I was thinking, keep looking at the calendar here. We've got a meeting on Monday. When we do this for the interim position, we're gonna get that thing filled fairly quickly, actually. We don't have a heck of a lot of time here. Take applications until the 13th. I was thinking that would be the Tuesday, the 13th, and then we'd have a special meeting on the 15th to decide. Does that seem reasonable? Is that
Yeah.
I don't think that's 10 days, 10 business days
Well,
or 10
well-
calendar days?
Oh, I wasn't, yeah.
We may
Oh, I see.
have to not
You're
go
thinking-
with straight 10 days
Oh,
then,
okay.
because we do have a shorter schedule, so,
Yeah, okay.
and we'll get the word out as fast as possible, so.
All right, then we can do it the following Monday.
But you're talking
It's up
about
to you.
What?
For interim, just an
Right.
internal, and then if nobody applies, then we go.
Okay.
So internally, maybe we do like you were saying, just expedite the schedule a little, like give everybody, if you want this job, put your name into the hat on the 13th.
Yep.
We'll review everything on the 15th. And that way, if for some
If you
reason
wanted to
something
wait
doesn't
till
come
the
through that's
following
worth it,
Monday,
we
I don't-
can just go to the posting like you suggested.
If you did 10 business days, say it gets posted Monday, you review it at your meeting on the 19th.
19th, yeah, that's probably,
And
yeah, go from there.
typically,
it's
we
like how
do
many
10
days are we
days.
saving
It
in a
wouldn't
way?
be weird to do it for less than 10.
Honestly, a couple days, you want to just do it that way?
Yeah, we have,
Sure.
okay. Yeah, we'll
We'll,
open it
we'll
up.
collect them to the 16th, I guess, the 15th,
15.
I think, yeah.
and then by the 19th, we'll
That's
review it.
reasonable?
If we don't receive anything by the 16th, then just go ahead and post on the 19th before the meeting. Does that make sense, Charlie? Rather than waiting an extra day, why don't we just, if
think we
somebody
probably
really wants
need-
the job.
Why don't we need a motion to that effect?
I would make a motion to post it internally till the 16th, review and make a decision on the 19th. If nobody applies, then on the 19th, she will post it publicly.
15th, December 15th,
Sure,
just because we're not open the 16th, so.
I forgot. Some of you are, some of you aren't. I get confused as sometimes which departments go to 5 days in the winter and which don't.
You all set?
That's my motion.
Okay, now second, Jack?
I was just wondering, is there some place that's written what the description, the duties of the town administrator are?
Yeah, we have a job description. This is for just the one to fill in between,
Oh, I understand, but I mean, after that, is there is it on the town's website or something?
It's not publicly posted yet, but we do have a copy. And one of the things we just suggested is where we're gonna review it and each independently mark it up if we think it should be revised for the current times, and then come together and visit at the next meeting to make any corrections if we wanted to then have it posted for the full-time position.
Has it been decided that whether or not we need a town administrator?
no, we haven't gotten to that point. We haven't gotten into any of that. We're just
Okay.
doing the interim right now. What I'd like to do first is to take the vote on what we have and then discuss where we go from there. That was my thought. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. It has been seconded. Any other discussion right now on this
Regarding posting the interim
position?
administrator position.
Okay, call for a vote. Okay,
Aye.
now, I think we need, I like the way the police hiring in the police chief's position was handled. I thought that that was a very, very good system. I thought the people did a remarkable job, and I thought maybe having something similar to this position. This is another very high profile, maybe as high a profile as we're gonna get from the perspective of the board. And I like the idea with the committee. I think when, after Lorraine left, as I recall, there was a committee put together. I wasn't on the board at the time, but I do recall that. They solicited for the applications, did the review, very similar. One of the aspects, and speaking in reference to what Matt had, I was wondering if it's a big charge, but would it be practical to ask that committee to take a look at the job description at the same time? Or is that beyond the scope of a hiring? Do you think that's a little asking too much?
I do. I think
Okay.
the board probably should
Yeah,
do that.
okay, the board.
And, they're gonna have their, all their attention focused on
Okay.
going through candidates and the pre-screening interview process.
Kind of give them what to fill, and they go try to find people. Yeah, we can reach out to individuals if we want input on our own little personal review, and when we come together, we can see how it works. I mean, don't get me wrong, currently the town administrator's job is quite broad as described, so it's not like there's a lot to chop up and dice up and really clean up, otherwise you make it so tight that there's really, so there's not a lot I think that we can necessarily do to change the job description and the duties, but there might be a couple spots, I guess. I've read it, but I don't recall any specifics where I'm like, oh, that should or shouldn't be, so I'll have to take my time to look through that again.
But I do think we need, to solicit, we can start opening it up to have a committee put it together, then we can work out a timeline and start fulfilling. One of the aspects that I had thought about this is to have the position, it's gonna take some time, we're, at the beginning of December, and, things slow down with the holidays and whatnot. By the time everything got in place, I had thought about taking, probably January, February, March to fill the position. Time moves on, it just takes time
Yeah.
on these things. And maybe when we got the third board member on, it would be a full board, and we could vote at that time. That would be the
Yeah, I
first
could
week
follow what
of,
you're saying,
first
yeah.
week of April, I don't know the exact date, but.
So they'll be getting them, and then we'll have a full board when it comes to be presented to the board.
That's what I was thinking on this
Yeah.
now. It sounds like a long ways off, but it's really not that far, really, when you come down to it. We're already December, and, we've got things to do. We
I do
got,
have a question on the last search committee process. I know there were some delays just because we were alone for a little while, but from the time the search committee started, the police chief search committee, to the time you had the names to present to the board. How long did that take, do you know, that process for you guys to go through that?
About 5 months.
We started in the middle of June.
Was that in May?
Yeah, you're right.
May.
We started in May. By the time we did the interviews, set up the schedule, the interviews, it took us until the end of August before we came in here.
So it really was timed right with the election that so you
That was
had your
just,
note.
that was just
Right,
accidental.
coincidentally, it wasn't
Yeah.
waiting for you, okay.
No, I mean, as soon as we received the charge from the Board of Selectmen, we began. And that was, as Kathy says, it was the end of May.
Well, it's just like you said, assuming we can get our charge and whatever job description, if we feel like there's any markups or changes or whatever, alterations. So we want to have that, our end of it wrapped up by like mid-January, so that we can get a committee moving on it. By the
At
end
that
of it,
time, get the committee appointed at that time.
try, I'm thinking, that gives us
I would think-
February, March, April.
Yeah.
It does, Mr. Chairman, it does take time because you're scheduling candidates and for interviews and scheduling the committee to meet, and that's what really takes the time, is getting everybody together and focused. I just want to add to what Heather was saying. It's almost a conflict of interest to leave the charge to the committee, which should come from the Board of Selectmen, because the committee's only and sole function should be presenting you with candidates, not deciding what that candidate is going to do, not deciding what that candidate is going to earn, but just simply the best candidate for the position.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because I was also thinking, if I'm correct, Heather, it was similar how Lunenburg did it, right? They had certain department manager heads involved in either the search committee, was it?
They had a 5-panel search committee.
Some of them were part of the town management.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that might be a good thing here, so that department heads have a little input in the bringing it down to the final. I don't know what we'd be looking when you do it. Do you say give me 3? Do you say give me 4 in the charge, or how do you normally determine?
I don't think
what
that
to
would
whittle it
be,
down
That would
to?
be contained in the charge, it's whichever you decide.
Yeah.
So the charge actually defines how many people we're
Yes.
looking for? Okay,
Yes.
that's what I was
Their,
wondering.
their screening committee is set up by charter. Lunenburg's was.
Oh, okay, so they kind of, I guess we have more leeway than they did.
what, then a town, oh yeah, we have a lot more than a town manager. Yes. Yes.
Do you think these police chief search committee charge that you drew up would be a good one to base a new draft off of?
And we can start there.
Okay. So, try to work through that, I guess, and then, again, find that section to define what we think the people should bring to the table with, who they are, where they come from, what they can support.
And look back as well, the last search committee for the town administrator was done for David Stone, available, and for Kevin
Okay, so we did a search committee for them as
for
well?
both.
Okay.
Jack?
Well, I know the town is desperately looking to cut back on expenses. And this might be a really good time to look to see whether we actually need a town administrator, or whether the selectmen, working with Fay or someone similar to Fay, can carry out most of the duties themselves.
I understand where you're coming from, and if I'm correct, you actually have something up on your desk, right, that spoke to 1996. They had a position called the administrative assistant, not the town administrator, and they went through a review and recommended having a town administrator do the increased roles of the town government. And they were finding, I believe in that recommendation, we started asking a lot of this administrative assistant, which pretty much we were asking the same things any town asked the town administrator to do, and we realized we needed more done. So So the recommendation was to create that position because the town actually had a lot going on. Now, I don't know if that, I didn't read the whole thing, so I don't know how much of it was because we assume a selectman has so much time to provide, being pretty much volunteers, or if it was just due to the state regulations requiring a lot more than what they used to require. So it's a good question, but I don't know if it's, I don't even know if there are any towns that don't have at least an administrator anymore in the state. There might be, but I think when I look through the MMA, there's not even many that have administrators left, let alone, I mean, everybody's going to an administrator or a manager or even into city council type government. So I'm not discounting what you're saying, I'm not sure, for all I know, someone wrote a new law that says you can't.
I was on.
I'm just being honest.
I was actually, just a minute, Jack, I was on the board when we made that change.
Okay.
And the job had been, it had changed considerably from when I first came on in 1980, whatever, 7, 8, whatever. And, you know, it was an upgrade in the position and an upgrade in the expectations of the position because the work, the town had changed and the town was growing at that point. Just, we couldn't keep up. We just, you know, schools, we were out of, you know, we finished Ruggles Lane and then 4 years later we were out of Ruggles Lane and we just couldn't keep up with everything that was going on. So we had to change the position. And it was, some of it was due to the state regs, but mostly it was just to deal with the issues affecting the town and keeping us in compliance with everything. I think there are still some towns around that have the administrative assistant, some that have,
Executive.
yeah, executive secretary, they're all different names. Probably even a few within town that might be different, right? Well, anyway, enough levity for 1 minute. So, but that was why it was done, and it had been in that previous slot for quite some time. Prior to that, it was changed. I'm trying to think back to when, it must have been around 1980, prior was the previous time that it had been upgraded. I was on the school committee at the time, and it was shifted at that point, so, and then they went through the shift to where we currently are now. So it was just a changing of the duties to meet the change in the towns, change in the regulations, in particular to assist the other boards in helping them make sure everything got done. You know, that was a big issue, just helping everybody get stuff done, make sure that, you know, most of the boards aren't full-time, they just meet the evening on their own, have somebody helping them somewhere. It was more just to deal with some of those issues to keep the town going. Jack?
If we had a town employee making the minimum wage, $7.50 an hour, that would be about $15,000 a year, plus benefits. If we took $15,000 and split it up between 3 selectmen, to have them more than just volunteering their time, finding out what the duties of the administrator are, being able to call on someone if something came up that you weren't familiar with. You may even be maybe having Lorraine work 8 hours a week or something like that. But this is an opportunity we have to let the town know we're going to be shrinking town government, we're going to be shrinking shrinking the tax burden on everybody in this town. This is a perfect time to start looking at some of this stuff, because we're a small town.
Yep. I understand where you're coming from, I do.
A 5% tax increase for real estate taxes is a killer.
Well, I can tell you this right now. I have no intention of working in a paid capacity. I like being a volunteer. I like doing what I'm doing. I enjoy it very much. I find it very, very rewarding. I always have. Like dealing with the town. I don't mind rolling up my sleeves and getting into the nitty-gritty when it's necessary. I don't mind filling in for people, like if Heather and Faye were away or something for a week, I think we could probably keep the ship afloat. But I do not want to run the town day to day. That's not what I ran for. I have no intention of doing that. So that's just my view. If I wanted to be a town administrator or something, I would have chosen that path in life. But, I'm not I'm bonded to some degree. We're bonded in a way, but we're not necessarily bonded in the way that an administrator has to be bonded. There's all these things. So the answer to that question is not what I ran for. It's not what I want. I don't want to do it, so I don't know if there's probably somebody out there that would, maybe, I guess, but that's why we have elections. But, I can just tell you that, and, I think the problem with the budgets and so on, we have been trying very hard to work on those issues. I think some of them rest beyond the scope of general town government. The number of police officers we have, call firefighters, the number of DPW people, in terms of personnel, I think you're going to find we're about right where we should be in numbers. Now, the problem is the tax base. It's not necessarily the cost of running the town. Some of it's the cost. I'm not saying that's not total, but to me, it's our tax base is the problem. And it's been a problem, and it's a problem not just for us, but all the other towns. I was at the meeting, Matt was a few weeks ago, the high school, and there were representatives all the way to the New York border at this meeting, and they were all in the same boat we are. I think overall the tax levy over the years has been, within the parameters of what some of the other towns. No one wants to pay more in taxes, but I'm not sure where in the personnel we're supposed to cut. And I think maybe we could take some looks at the administrative structure. There might be some flexibility there, but otherwise, I'm not sure the administrator's position is the place to be cutting. I'm certainly not going to do it. I don't mind, helping out. I think Matt and I could probably carry on for a couple weeks or something, but I don't really, that's not what I ran for. I don't think that's what the people elected me to
Right, I'm
do.
just asking you maybe to consider it, take a look at it.
I don't even
At
want to
this
do it.
time.
I don't even want to do it. So, that's just my opinion. Kathy?
That would be setting the town backwards, what Jack's talking about. If you look at Heather's job description and what she does in a day, you would be totally amazed at what she does.
Yeah, I'm not,
And
yeah, I do know. But that's just my opinion. If the town were to vote to do otherwise, then that would be the vote of the town. I can accept that, but that is not what I ran for. And that, that's always been my position on a lot of things. I don't necessarily come in and tell the departments what to do during the day and micromanage or whatever you want to call it. But if things there are problems, we deal with them. But I do not want to run. I have filled in for people in the past, and we can do it, and I think Matt could do it in, a couple of weeks or something. If we had to, things would get done, and we could do them. But it's not what I ran for.
I know my biggest difficulty with that concept is I'm not in a position where I could give up my full-time job. And because of that, even being the selectman I am makes it difficult for me to find the time to meet people when they're at work. I'm generally meeting Heather at 6:30 or later. If there's something outside the meeting I got to talk about. Same with Faye. We were just talking about all the business licenses I got to sign. I'll be either doing after this meeting or on the weekend. So the difficulty right now is $5,000 doesn't make that up. So it's hard to, there are people, I agree, there are people out there that have the ability, they have the time, they're in a situation where, whether it's they're retired or they just have some money, they don't need a full-time week job, they can put this time in and do exactly what you're suggesting. They could take a selectman's role, jump right in and do that job. And there may be people that want to. If I was at a different point in my life, I'd probably jump on it because I would enjoy that opportunity. But I know I couldn't make the commitment where I think I could fill in that gap where I'm at right now. Doesn't mean in 3 years when we go through exactly, you might get the selectmen 3 years that want to do it. 3 selectmen that we have the time, we have the ability, this is where we want to go, and that'd be fine. I couldn't make that commitment, so I would actually have to leave just because I wouldn't really be helping the town if that's where we went right now. And that's just being upfront. I think we've got a lot of good people here that work real hard. I do think Heather does a lot, and a lot of it is not understood because it's in an office on the phone, or she's driving around to different meetings so she can deal with the parts that I'm learning more of. Her role as well as our role is as much in the town as out of the town. And so working with CMRPC and bringing in, trying to find grants and trying to work with, it's easy to say CMRPC, but if you see the number of emails I see, CMRPC is like 20 different organizations depending on which group you're involved in and what you're talking about. And you may have 1 or 2 people you regularly talk with, but for what I'm seeing, it would be hard, but it could be done. It could be done. If you have the right people that have the time that can give it in. I just couldn't do that without currently. So I would have to say, it's a nice thought, but it would have to roll out in more time than we currently have to fill her position at the moment. But I'm not necessarily against the concept. I just don't know if our town is in a position to do that.
Thank you. I think it might involve our charter too, I'm not sure. That's a possibility.
Yeah, it might be.
Having a working thing, which would have to send it to the legislature, but, and I don't know that for sure.
Because you could have stayed below 9,000 before you're technically having to pay into the retirement plan or something. So as long as it stayed at 5,000, we're still kind of elected, not hired, something like that, right? There's some weird.
I'm sure that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's another little aspect we'd have to pay attention to. But I do think it was, as long as you don't make more than 9,000 in a year.
I'm just thinking that this is an opportunity we have. There may be somebody out there that works in a small town that has extra time. And then we could have they work for us a third of the time, like our IT guy works, or someone else works.
Yeah, I see
As
that.
long as everything is getting done, there may be somebody out there that would be willing to work part-time, that works for another town. I don't know.
I see your point. And there might be things where we don't take on the whole duty, we take on certain roles that might fill in. So maybe when we evaluate the job description, we may see is that some selectmen can do that reduces what we're asking of the new town administrator. I can see what you're saying, so I mean, I'll keep that in mind when I'm looking at it.
Thank you.
There are towns that share, right? There's a few in Franklin County, I think. I think there's some in Franklin County. They're considerably smaller than Barry. They're probably down around 1,000, 1,100 population that they share. Certain areas it works out okay, and I think some of the other towns in the school district used to be part-time. Are any of them part-time now? I don't think so, are they? No.
None of you did that.
Yeah, they shifted away. I think it's going to be tough. And then I think the other thing is if you do get somebody coming forward, that's fine, but they're not going to be there forever. So we want to make sure we're not creating positions for people rather than having a position. That's another, you can walk down that, you can get into a lot of trouble on that road very quickly. Lester?
I was just going to say, it should be very clear in your charge to the committee, the answer to this question. Whether
Yeah.
you're looking for somebody full-time, whether you're looking for somebody to share, because that's obviously going to affect the candidates who apply.
I agree. For interim, we're looking for someone to take her job completely as it is. And then we'll, again,
I was
generically
speaking
kind of,
long-term.
but you're right. I think that's where when we look through the job descriptions, we'll better know what we think we want. And then we can sit down and bring it together as one complete charge to the committee. Here's the description and here's what we're looking for.
The number of hours, all of that, something.
Kind of review your contract to kind of get an idea of what we'd be looking, like you said, number of hours her contract describes that. It kind of describes some of the basics that can be put into that advertisement.
Just, I think when I give you my full report of all the outstanding projects and everything that needs to be done once I leave, you'll have a good understanding of how much we have going on. Not everything is, at a meeting, some things, day-to-day things that are just necessary things that you need to follow up on all the time. And for a small town, just like our police department, we're a busy town. A lot of the projects are voluntary projects that we've signed up for because it's a benefit to the town. Green Communities, for instance, that's been a number of projects that have taken time to do bids and contract administration. There's a lot of reporting that goes to the state that is handled by our office. So that's just one minor aspect. So to start discussions.
Maybe
Did you
just
have
add that to the agenda.
I just
just
wondered,
as a
were you
potential.
gonna hold interviews for the interim candidates?
We probably would have to, we probably
Okay.
would at some point,
Yeah, I thought, I heard you say appoint someone on the 19th, but I didn't know if you would.
Not
typically
necessarily, but I guess it would depend on how many people apply and how much
Yeah, we wanna-
discussion. If 2 people apply and we both think one person's better than the second.
I want,
That's all, it would
See what
depend
we
really
get.
on who says, yeah, I think I'm willing to take this on.
I'm assuming
I
we're
don't
on a
think
Just
target.
stating, I
It's a
assume you
good
would want to interview.
I think if they're, especially internally, I would think that would be the best thing to do for the parish.
Do you want to do the licenses?
What?
Do you want to do the licenses?
You got more?
No, the licenses.
If you just vote on them.
You can vote on them.
Oh, okay. We did that.
Would you like me to read them for you?
I got the list, yeah. I don't ever recall doing it that way.
All
We just
inclusive
signed
vote or
them.
vote per license.
I would say an all-inclusive vote would be fine.
Yes, I'm
I can
okay.
do it if you want.
I appreciate that recommendation.
Shelley, is it all right if I read through this?
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so the licenses that we've received so far have gone to the tax collector to see if there's any outstanding. There's no outstanding past the 12 months as our bylaw states. So we'll start with the on-premise liquor licenses. The inholders would be Red Barry LLC, DBA Harding Allen, State Bed and Breakfast, Joseph F. Perrin, DBA Jenkins House Bed and Breakfast. The restaurants with an on-premise liquor license is Title Seafood LLC, DBA High Tide Seafood Bar, Seafood and Dairy Bar, Upper Deck Sports Bar and Grill Incorporated, Glen Orbeck Incorporated, DBA Picasso, Walter Fielding, DBA Cozy Cabin, Jai Jane Garden Incorporated, DBA Yummy Garden Restaurant, Aridios Bezos, DBA Quabbin House of Pizza and Seafood, Carissa Hartman Wozniak, DBA Hartman's Oak Farm, Carter Stevens Farm LLC, DBA Carter Stevens Farm Store, Dominic's Incorporated, DBA Berry Mill Restaurant. Club license is Berry Post number 2. For off-premise liquor license renewal, package store license goes to Brewster's Liquor Mart, Incorporated H and UK Corporation, DBA Marketplace on the Common, Kudradev Incorporated, DBA Barry General Store, Quabbin Plaza Liquors. For entertainment licenses, we have LCJS Donuts, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, David Dugas Music, Upper Deck Sports Bar and Grill Incorporated, Bradbury LLC, DBA Harding Allen Estate Bed and Breakfast, Glen Orbeck Incorporated, DBA Picasso, jukebox license to Upper Deck Sports Bar and Grill Incorporated. We have inholder license to Redberry LLC, DBA Harding Allen Estate Bed and Breakfast, Joseph F. Perrin, DBA Jenkins House Bed and Breakfast, Carissa A. Hartman Wozniak, DBA Hartman's Herb Farm, automatic amusement license to David Dubious Music, Pizza Guys, DBA Northeast Pizza, common victualler licenses to Subway, DBA Barry Subway, Alfred and Rebecca Hamill, DBA Becky's Bistro, Barry Center for Buddhist Studies, R.C. Bishop of Worcester, DBA St. Francis of Assisi Parish, Pizza Guys, DBA Northeast Pizza, Listening Wellness Center, LCJS Donuts, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, Upper Deck Sports Bar and Grill Incorporated, Red Berry LLC, DBA Harding Allen Estate Bed and Breakfast, H&UK Corporation, DBA Marketplace on the Common, Kudradev Incorporated, DBA Berry General Store, Joseph F. Perrin, DBA Jenkins Inn House Bed and Breakfast. Oh, sorry, I thought I listed that twice. Glen Orbeck Incorporated, DBA Picasso, Walter Fielding, DBA Cozy Cabin, Jai Zhang Garden Incorporated, DBA Yummy Garden, Restaurant Arios, Bezos, DBA Common House of Pizza and Seafood, Barry Post, number 2, Carissa Hartman Wozniak, DBA Hartman's Herb Farm, Carter Stevens Farm LLC, DBA Carter Stevens Farm Store, Honey Farms, Dominic's Incorporated, DBA Barry Mill Restaurant, Motor Vehicle Class 1 to Higgins Alternative Incorporated, Motor Vehicle Class 2 to White Valley Motors Incorporated, Brian Callahan, DBA PC Auto.
Good, thank you.
Make a motion to renew all licenses as described by Fay.
I'll second it. Thought that was on there.
Yeah, I was wondering, is that written as Walter Fielding because
It's
it's
still
not
working.
processed yet?
Yeah, until we process the liquor change, which she submitted, you guys took care of
Yeah.
last week. So until that changes, it still renews that way.
You're still waiting on
Yeah.
the state to say okay?
Yes. Yeah, that could take up to 4 to 6 weeks upwards. That's why she was to renew as is and then wait for the change.
Okay.
Discussion, call for a vote in favor.
Aye.
That is it. Okay, I'll look for the appropriate motion.
Just wait this one, because I try to remember what to say. Okay, I make a motion to close the meeting.
Give it a second. Favor?
Aye.
Thank you for,
Is it close or exit technically?
Adjourn.
Adjourn. See, I knew
that's
it.
the same.
Still didn't remember the right
If we
word.
could just get up and leave, that would accomplish the same.